I stand before you all today at a crossroad within my own humanity. I don't know about you, but 2020 was extremely challenging for me. Challenging for my family, loved ones, friends, our MSUDenver community. And what we thought was over was just a continuum of trials, tribulations, struggles, and yet we persevered. This year alone, there have been 5 loved ones of mine who have passed. And so when you look around, we're here. But there's someone who isn't with us. We lost so many people as a result of the pandemic, whether directly to us or indirectly. But one of the things that I constantly have been reflecting on, both as I return to MSUDenver and someday continuing outside of this place I now call home, is how do we sustain life and make abundant living, not just for ourselves, but every single person connected to us, next to us, in our communities. So it's going to require a little bit more than what we've done before. You see, I preface this with it's no longer enough just to rely on our humanity. We all have to transcend and move into a place and a space of beinghood, where the words we speak, the actions we have, our dealings with one another, take compassion to a higher level. No longer taking for granted one another, the time we have. You see, the pandemic taught us how powerful we can be when we come together collectively, communally. But if we continue to disregard the one thing that we all have in this moment, which is life, we will continue to perpetuate and facilitate the harms, the tragedies, the pains and sufferings we have seen since the beginning of this thing we call humanity. You see, we all have an opportunity and a choice to be transformed. We can use our voices, our minds, our hearts, our wealth, our titles, our positionality, our privileges, the lists go on. But everything that you've been given isn't about you, but it has been bestowed to you on behalf of every single being you come into contact and connection to. You see, we're not that different if we start to drop our flesh. I think it's said that we're 99.99 and some change alike. So that little piece of variation is what makes us different than one another. But at the core of us, it is my belief that we come from the same source. And we will all someday go to that source. Regardless of your religious affiliations, this isn't about if you're Christian, Muslim, Buddhist. This is about that you were created for such a time as this. And you have everything it takes to change yourself and the world. No longer allow it to remain as how it has been for centuries and centuries. War, famine, disease, illness, the list goes on. Why should we continue to allow the cessation of life for ourselves or one another. I'm talking about taking the word love far greater than the LOVE. I'm talking about taking the word hope far greater than HOPE. It's going to require you. It's going to require me. It's going to require we. It's going to require us to come together in a way that we have never done before. Putting aside pettiness, putting aside trivial matters, putting aside any and all things that would cause the cessation of life. We have children coming into the world. We have people exiting the world. But we have an obligation and a duty to find a way to connect to one another. My heart is on this stage. I've done a lot of things here. But the one thing that I continue to come into contact with is how do we handle one another? I am not perfect. I am flawed. But one thing I can say, I'm better because of community. I don't have all the answers. I've made significant mistakes. But one thing I can say is that people in my life who have hugged me and told me they see me, helped me to rise, helped me to be like a phoenix out of the ashes, to be able to cast off what was and to step into what will be. And to also take reverence and stock, I may never be here again. This very may be my last words to the earth, the last etching of the stone that X was here. But the one thing that I want to leave with each and every single one of you is that you deserve because you were created, that you are. Let nothing, no one stop you, including you. And when you get in the way of someone, move aside. Find a way to elevate one another. Find a way to speak life into one another. Find a way to house and to hold one another. And it is my belief that once we transition from just humanity into a state of beinghood, we will see the power, the zeal, the infiniteness of who we were always destined to be. Don't let the words of the other fellow talkers go in vain. There's too much work to do. Use your voice for someone else. This isn't about papers. This isn't about race. This isn't about gender. This is about human beings. We are in the business of creating life-fulfilling opportunities for each and every single person on the face of this planet and to come. And so if you hear anything, hear that you are not on this road alone. All of our paths cross. As road runners and beyond. So keep going. Keep running. Keep pressing. Do whatever it takes. But don't let your path, which is connected to my path, be in vain. Thank you.